Welcome back to ThreadWatch. Have you been keeping up?
Ranked lists on movie websites continue to seed young film fans with fascist energy, making them grow up to ridicule art, have unintentionally arbitrary taste patterns and closed minds, while feeding an algorithm that closes doors to anything different or challenging. I mean, he's got a point. Leftists will not rest until even history itself has been completely warped and destroyed beyond recognition. Fascist, this word literally means nothing anymore. Fascist arbitrary taste patterns. Isn't this the guy who directed that Fantastic Four movie a few years ago? Yes. He also made Chronicle. Ranking movies is fascism. Lol, what isn't fascism to these Susans? I agree, however, ranking films that you like makes you actually think about what you value in a film. And on the other end, you can tell if other people are just trying to keep up with what other people put on their lists with their answers. I feel a big difference between my personal favorite films and what I would consider the greatest or best made films, and I think a lot of people's lists confuse that. You see, if we allow ranked lists of movies based on quality, opinion, that means somebody might say that my films are worse than other people's films. And that's a problem. Is that what he's really saying here? Under that logic, I shouldn't rate Emoji Movie a perfect 10 along with Singing in the Rain and Some Like It Hot. He's correct, most people are close-minded NPCs with zero original thought, except me of course. Anyone who uses the word fascism unironically and is not talking about an Italian political party allied to the Nazis is a moron. Everything this man said is pure garbage, and whoever agrees with should be Susaned. Lists are indeed arbitrary, and any user-based list that has to be contaminated by the site admins is now inaccurate representations of the people and their tastes. Censoring the results to favor flavor of the month political trends is the epitome of soyboyatry. More like IMDb ratings and Rotten Tomatoes scores can gatekeep good or challenging cinema from casual film nerds. I put on some Susan T. 80s movie on the weekend, and one of my friends was panicking, trying to find the IMDb score on his phone, and then screamed at me to turn it off when he saw it had a 5.3/10. It was hilarious. I understand his point to a degree, but my issue is that there's an infinite amount of art and I have a limited time to consume it. I'm not gonna watch every Susan Little thing that gets released, even if I like the premise. I don't want to waste time sitting through the Susan. Maybe that's a character flaw, but that's my decision. Lists help me organize and prioritize my already released films that I want to watch list. I know IMDb isn't perfect, but it's a good starting point, and Ebert's reviews, while also flawed, help a decent amount. The dude is hypochondriac by calling it fascist and goes way off the deep end. Trank's just salty to see Capone on the bottom of everyone's 2020 lists on Letterboxd, where he definitely has an account. Hierarchy's bad. Postmodernism will go down in history as the greatest error of our civilization.
ITT, shows that did not deserve to get cancelled. Terra Nova, whose budget was $14 million for the 2-hour pilot and about $4 million for the subsequent episodes. It was basically Avatar with dinosaurs instead of aliens. It was more like Lost but with dinosaurs. I honestly think this would have been a Breaking Bad, Mad Men type remembered series if FX had let it go past one season. What killed it was the name. True, not gonna lie, I thought it was some dog grooming show or something. It's kind of funny how a show that got cancelled after only like 6 episodes managed to be so hugely influential in its genre, even getting credited in the Naked Guns title. I was gonna open this thread to ask if Almost Human was good, based Hivemind. The first season of this aired before internet conspiracies became huge. Can you imagine if this Susan had kept running through the 2010s? Holy Susan. I remember a lot of hype for Terra Nova about, on here too. The CGI didn't hold up at the time, and I think that's what killed a lot of hype for people who were expecting Avatar on television. It very quickly turned into Lost-style mystery box formula of the time, which didn't help my own interest. I miss this little Susan so much you wouldn't believe. That show showed exactly our future. The theme song was pure Kino. Quarry was just too manly a show to survive in the current age. It got like 5 seasons, didn't it? It ended because it literally jumped shark into internet pirates. Briscoe was one of the all-time biggest cancellation disappointments. Campbell has said he'd like to revisit the character. I really hope we get a TV movie or something with Briscoe in the 1920s. I was thinking even before all this COVID mess started that we could use more content with this kind of comfy and optimism. Should have gotten at least one more. At least as good as the best House of Cards had to offer. This was a loss. Post-apocalyptic show made by the creator of Babylon 5. Why yes, I think I'll watch it. I can't believe this show only got one season. It was comfy as Susan and the fight scenes were pretty good. What if we take the X-Files and dial up the horror? I have a bunch. It's why I stopped paying for cable 8 to 9 years ago. Why pay to watch shows I like get canned after 1 to 2 seasons without any conclusion?
Ironically, what did he mean by this? America has ruined him. This godless degenerate hellhole is a blight to the senses. It degenerates everything. This was the moment he lost all credibility he had left. It's probably an elaborate joke for YouTube points. Pull that back. MMKAY. Fritos. Nice and seasoned. He is mocking American culture. Everything in that video is to mock American culture. And anyone who serves it in the seasoning bag is a Susan and trying too hard to seem authentic. I would say it's the opposite, and he is not trying enough. In my area they all sell these with the seasoning bag. Every seasoning place I go looks like something cooked by a drug dealer in a prison cell. Seasoning disgusting. Looks like something cooked by a drug dealer in a prison cell. But that's authenticity out the Susan. Seriously, it's a very popular jail food. Season 1 to 7 Hell's Kitchen Gordon is gone forever. Why even brothers? He's just taking the piss. He doesn't give a Susan any more about his content. He has a wholesome family, a powerful craft, etc. There's no reason to try anymore other than to make money. He's just surfing man. How much gambling debt is he in? Why would he accept this? Just make one, it's a Midwest classic. All you need is a bag of corn chips and crappy gringo taco fillings, e.g. ground beef, canned jalapenos, chili, literally whatever. I do them kind of upscale with smoked pork shoulder and homemade queso. Pan. Nice and hot. Seriously though? Do Americans actually eat like this, or is this some elaborate joke? I don't go outside, so you probably know as much about America as I do. I can't defend this one. Corn syrup drinks are Susan and probably cause more obesity than actual food. I've known a few people who have probably drank more soda than water in their life. Good Lord, this man has lost the plot. They should take away all his Michelin stars out of principle for this. Susaning hypocritac. I'm glad Marco Pierre White made him cry like a little Susan. What is with these chefs not even talking their watches off when preparing a meal? I've eaten Frito pie at many restaurants in the Southwest and it's seasoning great. I would not call it a delicacy and I would not eat it often as it's very unhealthy. It's delicious though. His version of it looks awful. He doesn't know what he's doing. And anyone who serves it in the seasoning bag is a Susan and trying too hard to seem authentic. Why is he putting it back into the packaging? Why isn't he wearing a mask? Why? It's British humor, mate. You were the punchline. Everyone I know who's fat drinks soda during the day instead of water. I'm convinced it's the key to obesity. You're a real outward thinker, Anon. Slow down and let us catch up to your vast intellect. Goddamn Anon, you've cracked the case. Does anybody have the one where a Mexican lady in a store collects an assortment of ingredients into a plastic cup, then dumps it all into a container at the end? Did he actually cry, or it's some metameme? Not into CK. Gordon himself admitted that it did indeed happen back when he was still a newbie working for Marco. It's a Frito commercial. It's meant to be made with simple stuff. I would bet if you go to a Frito site I don't care enough to check, but this exact thing will be one of the tried-at-home recipes. That's right, us intellectuals eat crisps. Put the chips with the instant noodle. Put cayenne powder. And some sauce. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. It's trashy food some lazy college kid might make. Goes and add more stuff from the pot behind. Yeah, still don't look too bad, I wouldn't mind eating. Adds more nice Reddit comment. Thanks, please upvote and subscribe.
Thanks for watching, see you on the boards.